So today's class and discussion is going to be on the custom menus and automated pricing features of the Aldelo Express platform. Now, this is going to cover various ways that you can automate pricing, price levels, price changes within the system that will help management control their operation. So this does give the ability to control through automation the operations. This gives this capability to the ownership. So restaurant management and ownership can set policies. They can set what they would like the system to do. This then makes the point of sale system even more integral into the operation of the restaurant, and that it controls the pricing, which is really what it's set to do. And it's also going to remove the human element from policy enforcement. You can blame it on the system if you wish. You say, well, happy hour's over. It's because the system changed the price level. So it takes some of the human element, it takes the human element out of the enforcement of policies. It reduces theft. It reduces mistakes, if you want to call them that, and sweethearting and discounts to friends and family. This goes on all the time. In every business and every system, this is one of the more prevalent ways that theft enters into the operation. It's through the friends and family discounts. It's pretty prevalent, and that's really one of the reasons that point of sale and cash registers were invented back in the late 1800s, was to prevent theft by family members. So mistakes, theft, sweethearting, all those things are taken out of the equation. Menus can be set on a schedule. Now, I'm using menus and product groups as kind of synonymous. In the actual programming, it's going to be under product groups, but these are the categories down the left-hand side of the screen on the point of sale. This then makes it possible for the system to have a schedule. That schedule is by day of the week, then time of day. So you're able to set the schedule to make changes automatically, and they are limited to one per day. And really what happens is, by a schedule, the system turns on and off the categories that are on the left-hand side of the screen. So they're either hidden or shown by that schedule. So that, for instance, you could have breakfast come on at 5. The actual menu when the restaurant opens would be the breakfast menu. And so let's have that run 5 to 11. And then lunch starts maybe 10:30. So you have that 30-minute overlap. This actually gives the restaurant time to change over the kitchen. If you don't know, when a restaurant goes from breakfast to lunch, they really have to reset the operation in the kitchen. They have to take the breakfast items off of the serving in the prep area and replace those with the lunch items. So in a case you're taking away the eggs and the hash browns and replacing them with the fries for lunch, and possibly burgers, lunch meats, and those things actually physically have to be taken out of the storage and brought up and replaced. So in this instance, what I'm showing here, it gives them a 30-minute overlap between the time that they're serving breakfast and taking that down and bringing out the lunch items to the serving and prep areas. So that's why you have this overlap. And let's say it goes to 5. And then at 4:30, we bring out dinner. And we do the same thing. We reset the kitchen. And in this case, we're now going to pop up a dinner menu or a dinner category that then they can start showing, and it shows on the point of sale, and they can start ringing up items. There, in this case, I'm showing a 30-minute gap. So this is kind of how it would flow on a normal restaurant. Then if you had something with a brunch, so we can now run a brunch menu that's only available Sunday from 9:30 to 11. different items, same items maybe, but it just depends on how they want to run it. But you would have a brunch menu then pop up at those times. And then there's those times where you have like prime rib night. Friday nights in the restaurant could be a prime rib night. Only prime rib night would then pop up on that Friday at 4:30 and go until. Till might mean until they run out or till closing, whichever they use. If you're using it, using the 86 or the item countdown feature, then it would be until they ran out. So this is how the product groups and menus would operate. I'm going to pause now to see what questions that have popped up that we need to take a look at.
So we have somebody asking, can you stop the price change 15 minutes before closing?
Sure. Yeah, it's a matter of just what time of the day you want to start that or stop it. The schedule can be set for any time during the operation. Back office. Okay, let's show real quick how to set this up. You're going to go to the products area and you're going to scroll down to the product groups. Now remember, now I'm using product groups to then change the categories down the left-hand side of the screen. I'm using those as menus. So last week we set up a product group called Tex-Mex. Let's just use that as an example of what we could do for today. So you go in here and you would then give it the name that you'd like. If you're doing breakfast, then obviously breakfast would be your group name. Alternate name would be if you had a different language, for instance. You can use a button picture. That picture is not displayed on the iPad or Android tablet, but it is displayed on the Mesa app. So it is used, and that's where that image or button picture would be used. And then you can also set the color for Mesa as well. But I'm going to go into the extended settings. This is where you come in now, and it's here every day. It's available from here to here. So every day you could then set the time that you would like this to start. So I'm going to have this at 5, straight up 5 o'clock a.m. to, I think if we were doing a breakfast, I think we talked about doing it till 11. And that's how you set now the schedule. So now the Tex-Mex menu will start at 5 and go to 11. That's you could be for the breakfast time. That now is going to display every day 5 to 11. And that's really all you have to do on that. To undo it, just hit the X, we're done. Now you can then set up a schedule that is by day. So if you want this to be on certain days. Now, if you remember, I said something about a Sunday brunch. So that's what you then set Sunday to then pop this menu up only during specific times. So it can be by the day of the week as well. You can choose that this menu be only available for certain order types. So it's possible that you don't want to have your breakfast be a delivery item. You can uncheck this and then it would not be available for delivery. Once you're done, hit save and you now have that category, that product group is now becoming a menu that turns on and off. All right, Jeff, what did I miss? Anything there, bud?
No, you did fantastic. Do you want to show how the weekly schedule works?
Okay.
For setting that up, especially if you wanted to have the menu available for multiple times in a single day?
Okay. You're going to have to guide me through that then.
Absolutely. So there you'll actually see a button in blue that says add new weekly schedule. If you click on that, it will give you the option to choose from the drop down the day of the week that you want this to apply. And then just like normal, you set the to and from time that you'd like this to apply to. So go ahead and set this for like 4 a.m. It doesn't matter which time you set it. And then just, yeah, 4 a.m. and then have it in, let's say 6 a.m. There you go. 6:59 is good too. Now, if you hit,
Okay.
there you go. Now, if you hit add new weekly schedule, you can either select a different day, or I can even go in here and go, hey, it's Sunday. I also want this same menu to be available from, and then pick a time, make it from noon to, that just makes it easy to change it right there. Yeah. And boom, you know, it's now available also from noon to 6:59. So he can do it right out to the exact minute that he wants that to be available. And this gives you the ability to have that same menu appear different times of the day, but you can also schedule it for different days of the week, so that it appears or disappears during those periods. It makes it extremely flexible.
Okay, let's move on to that next section. This is going to talk about price levels. Now, these are price levels by item. You can have up to 5 of these price levels. So you have a default price, but if you want to get a little more control over the price, you can have up to 5 different prices per item, and these are based on order type. So as you are programming the different order types, the system comes standard with 5. You can change the name of those to be different names, but they do have 5 different order types. And of course, as you change the order type, this changes the price level, changes the price of the item. So if you did have a delivery level price or a takeout level price as an order type, the delivery surcharges and the to-go surcharges, those would still be applicable if you chose to do that. So these are different from surcharges. This is a whole another level of pricing. They also work with the Mesa Plus. So you have the ability to have different price levels for those to-go items that go through the Mesa app. Next up is VIP pricing. So you do have 3 levels of VIP pricing that you can program into the system. Now, these really are just discounts. So they do follow the discount policies that we have. You can do percentage dollar discounts. You can also set a max price of that item. And they do follow the parameters, meaning that you can set these up to be employee dependent. That is, they have to have the right security level in order to apply a VIP discount. Now, these discounts are assigned at the customer level. So the customer has to have a profile within the system. And in that profile, they are set. You can set up to, you do have an option for 3 of these customer levels. Then the system the customer must be recognized by the system. That is, during the point of sale, during the process of creating the order, the operator must either scan a barcode, enter the phone number of the customer to recall their profile, or enter their name and do a search. But the customer profile must be identified within the point of sale in order for these discounts to apply. Once the profile is identified, then the system will automatically apply the discount. It's not something that the operator has to do. These can be things like employee discounts, family discounts, frequent customers, or we came up with one this morning, a sports team. That sometimes restaurants will say, if you, on a certain night, anybody who mentions a certain sports team, we will then accumulate reward points and then pay that out at the end of the night. This is a way to do that. Create the sports team to have a profile. When that customer says, I'm with so-and-so swim teams, football team, baseball team, then that team is identified with that order. And at the end of that order, they are able to then apply those reward points to that that transaction. That then accumulates those points for distribution later. So this is a good way to make that happen. Next up, the advanced pricing module. This is one that we have covered before. You'll find a video on that goes into a lot more detail than I may do here, or at least some other items that are there. But as a whole, there's two sections. There's a scheduled price area and a global price change tab. So there's two tabs, one for scheduling price changes, that is turning them on and off. And then the global price change allows you to change price in a different way without a schedule. So let's take a look at the scheduled prices. They are done by item. So this is down to the item level. They can be by day of the week, time of day. They can be a percentage discount, or they can be a dollar discount. These are most often used for things like happy hour, where they take the price down for a specific period of time. Then they also have entertainment hour, where they take the items up to have a surcharge for that time. And then they have things like ladies' night, where the ladies get a special discount for coming in that one night. And then something like dollar beer night, or even maybe holiday pricing. So all these are kind of examples of what you can do with the scheduled price. I'm sure there are others that can happen, but this works out really well, and it gives control, specific control for those periods of time, so that the marketing dollars can have an ROI. So let's talk about global price changes. Now, these are not scheduled. These do not take the price down and then take the price back up automatically. But I wanted to include them in here because they do have a really powerful application with regard to an automated price change. These are for longer term price changes, not a on and off type of situation. You would do search and sort by product group, which in this case, it could be by menu. So by product group, and then even more detailed, we can get into product or report category. So we're narrowing down the database from thousands of items down to maybe dozens of items by sorting them by product group and report category. Then you can change prices. You can select individual items or all items that are in that report category. Single item, choices of items, or all items. You can do it by order type. You remember we had 5 different order types. So now we can change the price of these selected items just by order type. So I can choose dine-in, I can choose to go, I can choose delivery. I can just change that one order type, or I can change all. That can be by percentage, by dollar amount. And here is the key. They can go up or down. So I can do price changes up to then give an upcharge to all the items selected, or I can go down. Generally in this market, where we're seeing is prices are rising. So in this case, they needed to change the price and bump it up by a quarter, 50 cents, a dollar. They could choose that group of items and make that price change instantly. All right, so any questions on that? Jeff, anything in the chat I need to address?
Doug was looking at, you said, hey, you could discount for teams, and he was wondering how exactly that worked.
Okay.
If you elaborate a little more for that.
Sure. When you have the, let's see, the customer profile. So you would set up a customer for the team. That would be in the point of sale. So whatever sports team you want to do. When the customer comes in and says, we're dining here on Tuesday, and everybody who mentions this sports team, we're going to then give them reward points for participating. They're not getting really a discount if per se, but they're then saying we're going to then contribute to that team at the end of the night. So Doug, you go to the restaurant, you say, I'm with that sports team. Great. They then enter that sports team's name into the customer profile, and that then starts tracking the sales that that team has generated for that restaurant that night. Then at the end of the point of sale transaction, there's an option then to reward those reward points. You could then also put the team in there. So either end, on the front end or the back end of the transaction, it's a matter of just selecting that team from the customer profile. And the system would then track those points. End of night, those points in could be distributed, or dollars could be distributed to the team. It's just a good way of the community supporting a kids sports team.
And
Yeah,
Doug, you're not redeeming the points, you're writing a check to that charity.
Yeah, that's it. And it's really not what you're saying during the Tampa Bay Lightning game. You discount? Yes, that you can. That's more of a scheduled event, so you could schedule it and just start it when the game starts and end it when the game's done. This is what I was referring to is more like little league stuff. Little league baseball team, little league football team, something like that. Jeff, anything else on that one?
No, I think we covered everything.
Okay. Anything else in the chat?
You did good. You got everything in the chat.
All right. Well, I see Rodney's up there typing away. These menus would definitely be something that I would use. I like the idea of turning them on and off.
Yeah, especially if they have a breakfast menu or something like this, it prevents people from ordering something off of the breakfast menu that might be a cheaper price, during the lunch period.
Yeah.
Or even ordering, by accident, something from the breakfast menu after the kitchen has made that changeover from their breakfast time to their lunch time, really making, okay, if the kitchen wants to actually fulfill this, they've got to go break out the breakfast.
It's a pain. It is.
And so it would actually prevent some confusion and delays in the kitchen by using it properly. Yeah, absolutely.
Because once they make that switch over, they have physically removed items from the prep area and have taken them to wherever, cooler, storage, wherever. So they're not available, easily accessible. All right, guys. Then I think we're going to call this a done deal for the day. I appreciate very much the participation we've had. You've had some great questions. So I encourage you to download the demo if you haven't already. And I also encourage you to download the new Aldelo Express Android tablet onto your new Android tablets. The program does work with the iPad in the same network. That is very, very powerful thing to show. It's not all companies can do that. It also allows you now to have the Android, which is on the less expensive hardware, so that if your customer is a price conscious customer, they can look at different Android options there. All right, Jeff, any closing remarks?
No, I think you got everything. Thank you.
Okay.